So I'll give you guys a little sneak preview. So Andy, if we take a look at this Andy chart, so I had put a couple of ranges on here. What's that? 10B. Let's see. I'm gonna hide the ranges. Yeah. Okay. So if you look at, you guys look at something like Andy, which is one of the boys club that we're invested in. Andy, since it's been created, has had a couple of different local ranges that have played out. Okay. And I just want to show you guys a couple of price targets on something like Andy and why you have to understand right now is such a premier entry and why I've been accumulating more of it. When Andy first launched, this was the first range that it had created. Okay. So this is right here about, I believe, about a $2 million market cap. This is about 3840. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So this is when Andy was tiny. Okay. So it created this first range right here. And when you draw these fibs on the logarithmic fibs on here, Andy is playing these fibs, right? So here's the 0, here's the 1. This is the range that we created right here. Let me go on a lower time frame just so you can see more price action. And look how well Andy played on these fibs, right? So we get this range 1. Okay, we create this range. Andy, boom, breaks out. Where does it stop exactly? The 1.618 on this logarithmic fib. So it's playing the fibs. If Andy's playing fibs, then that means you can expect the fibs to continue to play throughout the life of this cycle. So Andy hits the 1.618, comes up, creates a second range. Okay, this is range 2 because now it broke to the 1.618, breaks through up into the 1.618 between that and the 2.618, right? Creates a second range. So let's go ahead and turn those objects back on. So here's range 2. Let's turn on this fib. So here's the second set of fibs on Andy, okay? So we got this range right here. 1.618 is here at 473 price. Okay, that would be $470 million market cap. Okay, has this range 2, finally breaks out of range 2 and comes up where and reacts where. Isn't that weird? It happens to exactly top out at the 2.618 of this first range from down here. Okay, so look, the fibs are continuing to play is what I'm trying to show you. All right. So that's the second range, breaks out from the second range, comes up, hits this 2.618, which is from our first range down below, okay? Now, after breaking out of range 2, Andy creates a third higher time frame range, which we're in right now. So let's turn that one back on. So there's range 3. Here's the third set of fibs. So I created 3 different sets of fibs off of the different ranges, right? So same thing, we get this interaction with this 2.618 from the first range below. Okay, now we're at where? At the mid-range on this range 3. Look at that, holding as support. So the ranges are playing. So why do I show you those? Well, so now that we have 3 different ranges, 3 different sets of fibs, we have a couple of scenarios that can play out, okay? So if we look at some price targets, let's put this back on the daily. If we look at some price targets.
Geeking out on this one a little bit.
Yeah, this one's fucking, hold on. Let me hide some shit here. So let me hide, because I want it to show the range. Hold on. Here, like this. That's better. Okay. So we have a couple of different targets on Andy now. So the first range that we had created, the fibs on this first range, they're playing beautifully. So the 1.618 played, the 2.618 played right here. The 3.618 on Andy is at a $5 billion market cap. Okay, so we can just hide these. Right? So if the fibs on Andy on the range 1 plays, we're getting a 3.618 at $5 billion market cap. From where we're at right now, let's see how much of a move that is. How many X's? Because we're talking X's. We're not talking about percentage gains. We're talking X's. Hold on, I sent it in here. To a $5 billion market cap from where Andy's price is right now, that's a 25x. So if you invest $1,000, if you hit the $5 billion market cap, you have 25,000 now. Okay. So that's on the original range. If you put on the 3 bill from range 2, which would be the 2.618, okay. From range 2, okay, this one right here, if you get the 2.618, which there's some confluence in here, that's a $3 billion market cap. If we go to 3 billion, that's a 15x from here. So 1,000 into $15,000. If we turn on the third fib from the newest range, the 2.618 is right here. Okay, from this large reaccumulation range. So we come up to this 2.618, that's a $10 billion market cap. If it goes to 10 billion, that's a 50x from here. Okay, so why am I showing you that? I'm showing you one because these aren't moon boy targets. These are legitimate actual targets that can play, because Andy's already been shown that it'll play fibs. But because as long as ETH performs the way that we think ETH is going to perform and ETH BTC starts pumping, Andy will hit these markers, because it's only existed in a market where ETH BTC has been down only. Once Ethereum starts outperforming Bitcoin, think about how much fucking pressure is going to be built up and how much pump you're going to get off of these assets whenever Ethereum's outperforming Bitcoin. So not only is the asset appreciating itself versus the US dollar, but if Ethereum's appreciating against Bitcoin, then the assets will further continue to appreciate against the US dollar. It's compounding effect. So you see these markers, I say 3 billion, 5 billion, 10 billion. 10 billion is probably, is bull case. It's probably best case scenario. 5 billion, I would say, is base case, meaning that I would expect it to get to about 5 billion. Bear case, if Ethereum only goes to, let's say, 10,000, 2x from the previous cycle all-time high, Andy will go to 3 billion, and then you got yourself a 15x. So 15x, 25x, 50x, okay? So I'm showing you that because right now, if you understand that most likely worst case scenario, you get a 15x on Andy from current prices, wouldn't you be buying more Andy right now? Instead of thinking, oh no, the price is going down. I'm not sure what's going on. Is this really going to be able to rally? Are we going to make money this cycle, et cetera? What happened? Well, if I told you, if you give me $1,000, I hand you back 15,000. How many $1,000 would you try to give me? You try to give me as much money as humanly possible. Sounds like a good trade, right? So when you look at markets like that and say, well, if I believe I'm going to get a 15x on Andy from here, to the end of Q2, well, I'm going to try to buy as much Andy as humanly possible, because my money is going to be worth 15 times more in 4 to 6 months if I do that. So this is why smart money is accumulating right here. Logan just got done talking about a whale to you guys from Binance. Well, this guy's aping in 1.5 million right now, because he understands that 1.5 million, worst case scenario, he's coming out with 8-10 mil. It's like, that's why he's buying that much and doesn't care about a 30-40% change in price from him aping in and him already losing 30% of his position just because of how much he bought. Doesn't matter to him, because 30-40%, what's that matter? He's going to get a 15-10x minimum. It's like, he doesn't care. Why would he care? So that's what you got to understand. That's the context in which these whales are buying these assets in. He's not worried about this wick he put in on Andy that you can see right here, right? He's not worried about this wick, because he's expecting price to do this all the way up there. He doesn't care about a little wick he just put in, right? That's only 3 billion right there. Boom. So he doesn't care about that wick. This is where it's going. So that's just the context in which you guys got to understand. This is why we're buying right now. So
yeah, and I mean, I think what you said too, this is the last thing I'll add, because I know we got to hop off here pretty soon, but the whenever you're saying, yeah, if you were to give me $1,000 and I was going to give you $15,000 back, it's like, that's worst case scenario to the upside. And it's like, if you think about it, where Andy's trading right now around the mid range of, its most recent range that it's put in, if you knew that was the worst case scenario for the upside, and then worst case scenario for the downside currently was to retrace to maybe range lows,
right,
that's where it would go in the short term. And that's probably where, if it gets to that point, probably not going to stick around too much longer after that. Probably just call it
yeah.
for a little bit. So it's like, where's the bottom What's the market cap for the bottom of the range that it's in currently?
50 mil.
50 mil.
Mm-hmm.
And it's at what, 150 mil right now?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's like that happens. It's what, a 60% ish pullback.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like 60% ish pullback, absolute worst case scenario. If you did ride it all the way down to range lows, which probably wouldn't happen, probably be getting out before then. So it's like if you know the worst case scenario to the upside is getting $15,000 back for your thousand, and the worst case scenario to the downside is cashing out $500 in from your thousand, you have a $500 worst case scenario downside loss, and you have a $15,000 worst case scenario upside profit. That's like what's gonna, we keep talking about this, but I think it's just so important to keep remembering. It's like what's gonna significantly change the trajectory of your life more.
Right.
It's like, yes, is $15,000 going to dramatically change your life? Well, if all you have to invest right now is $1,000, then probably will. Yeah, it's probably going to be a hell of a difference, and give you a nice foundation to make other trades off of, and to do what you got to do. Where if you have $1,000 and then a month from now you end up having 500, is that going to dramatically change the trajectory of your life? Probably not.
Nope.
And it's all relative. It's like, yeah, if you're investing more money, obviously the downside would be more significant. But if you had more money to invest, and the way we've spoken about money that you invest in crypto, you want to make sure it is money that you can afford to leave in the market, that you can not have to capitulate and sell because you need to pay your rent or you need to buy groceries. Like, it should be money that you can afford to keep in there. It's a no-brainer. It's so asymmetric, the profit versus the loss. And yeah, I mean, that's why I think whenever I messaged Priamo asking him, hey, what would you do if Ethereum slips below the range low? He said 0. And it's not going to go to 0. Obviously, the crypto market's not just going to close up shop overnight, disappear from the face of the earth. But yeah, I mean, the downside is so much smaller than the upside. So it's, yeah, get rich or die trying.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. At this point, as we know what the thesis is, it's going to play out. We just got to be diamond hands, bid like fucking heroes, and then, sell whenever the time is right in Q2-ish, Q3-ish, depending on where the market goes. And for those of you that want actual, because we're going to start wrapping up the stream. Well, first of all, like, comment, subscribe to the channel, like the stream. You guys just got a bunch of free juice, saw the markets, saw some of the coins that we're investing in. Logan gave you some fantastic analysis on DGen and Andy and Wolf and the whale investing into those assets. Like the stream at the very least. Give us some support. Let's get this pushed out into the algorithm, get other people seeing this stuff so we can continue to build the community and build the organization. If you're not already inside of the Taylor's Code, the link is in the description. The Taylor's Code is the ultimate university. I don't even know what the fuck we labeled it as. The university for the ultimate professional. That's what we got labeled as in the description. Okay. So join the Taylor's Code, because inside of there's when we're actually going to give you positional moves that we're doing. So when we're buying assets, when we're selling assets and taking profit, as opposed to just waiting on YouTube to see what we're doing on YouTube, because we're not going to tell you exactly when we're buying and selling. Okay. That's reserved for the individuals within the private organization and the private chat that we're investing with. Join the organization if you want to learn sales, marketing, affiliate marketing, e-commerce, obviously getting into the crypto market, etc. There's a bunch of materials in there that'll teach you how to set up wallets, how to set up DeFi platforms, how to use centralized, decentralized exchanges, what assets to invest in, how to get on chain, how to get off of just the normal centralized exchanges that most people use. All these things that you're going to need to be competitive in these markets is going to be inside of the Taylor's Code. Okay. So all those resources, materials are in there, and you're going to get direct access to myself, Logan, and the other gentleman that we invest with. Okay. So become a part of the network and help grow the organization. The more money that you guys make, the more money that everybody makes, the stronger that everybody becomes. The richer that your network is, the better it is for everyone. So with that being said, join the Taylor's Code, get inside. We'll get you making money ASAP. Don't capitulate. Don't sell at the lows. Okay. Bid like heroes and understand that the thesis will play out. You just got to wait for the right time to actually sell. You don't sell when it's, bottomed out red. If you're going to sell and take profits, you should have done that 2 months ago.